Sayın bakanlarımız,
distinguished ministers, distinguished ambassadors, and our president of the foundation, the educators coming from all around the world, distinguished guests, I would like to welcome you all to Istanbul Education Summit 2023.
Turkish Marif Foundation, distinguished guests, esteemed speakers, and valued members of the Marif Foundation. Welcome to the third annual Istanbul Education Summit.
benim adım Efnan Han.
It's a great pleasure for me to be together with you. I'm from TRT World.
And I'll be hosting this summit along with my dear colleague, Efnan.
Kıymetli misafirler, sizleri Cumhuriyetimizin kurucusu Mustafa Kemal Atatürk ve irtihal eden aziz şehitlerimizin ve gazilerimizin manevi huzurlarında bir dakikalık saygı duruşu ve ardından İstiklal Marşımızı okumaya davet ediyorum.
Dear guests, I would like to invite you all to observe a minute of silence in honor of the founder of the Turkish Republic, Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, and in remembrance of all the martyrs and veterans of the nation, and then to recite the national anthem of Turkey.
Kıymetli misafirler, ilk olarak Türkiye Marif Vakfı'nın
Distinguished guests, we are going to see the promotion video of Marif Foundation.
At Turkish Marif Foundation's promotional video, let's watch it all together.
The world needs a new story. One that takes root in the humility of the soil and soars in the freedom of the skies. Drawing inspiration from the collective knowledge of humanity, the richness of diverse ideas, from science, compassion, justice, and from the epic history of Anatolia. So, who shall narrate this new story to the world? Here we are, as Turkish Marif Foundation, recognizing humans as unique beings, inherently good and valuable. We embark on a journey to tell an inspiring new story to the world by raising individuals through quality education. Critical and analytical thinkers, imbued with scientific approach, cultural and humane values, human rights conscious with a sense of history and nature, committed to living a sustainable world for the future. These are the generations we aim to raise. In our pursuit of cultivating virtuous people on 6 continents, we work tirelessly. We know that those nurtured through an education of quality are the ones who will change the world for the better. We have adopted universality, continuity in goodness, and inclusiveness in education as our vision. Our efforts are guided by values such as trust, collaboration, transparency, competence, merit. We aspire to become a branded educational institution that educates virtuous individuals who make use of their knowledge and wisdom for the common goodness of humanity, leading the way in their fields and gaining trust worldwide. With devotion to humanity, we open up Turkish culture and Turkey to the world, establishing strong relations and teach our language to children all around the world. Inspired by Turkish Marif Foundation, tens of thousands of students preparing for the future in all the countries we operate are the hope of humanity and the guiding stars in the sky. They are a breath of fresh air, carriers of civilization, glimmers of hope. We elevate our impact to higher dimensions through the quality education we provide to our students, social and cultural activities, scholarships and dormitory facilities, our internationally recognized curriculum, and the Istanbul Education Summit, where developments in the education world are shared. The different colors and stories from around the world send a message to all of us, thanks to Turkish Marif Foundation family. And they say,
Dünyayı iyi insanlar kurtaracak.
this is the short story of the seeds that Turkey has sown all around the world on the path to becoming good people. Turkish Marif Foundation, valuing education.
Evet efendim. Uluslararası eğitimde ülkemizin dünyaya açılan penceresi Türkiye Marif Vakfı, kültürel ve medeniyetler arası etkileşimin artırılmasına katkıda bulunmaktadır. Kâr amacı gütmeyen bir kamu vakfı olarak okul öncesinden yüksek öğretime kadar eğitimin her aşamasında etkin faaliyetler yürütmek için dünya çapında çalışmaktadır. İlmini ve irfanını insanlığın barış ve huzuru için kullanacak iyi insanlar yetiştirmeyi misyon edinen Marif Vakfı alanında öncü bir eğitim kurumu olma yolunda başarı ile ilerliyor.
Turkish Marif Foundation has been serving as Turkey's window to the world. Besides contributing to enhancing cultural and civilizational interaction, the foundation also works across the world in order to carry out activities at every stage of education from preschool to higher education. The Marif Foundation, dedicated to nurturing individuals who will apply their knowledge and skills for the benefit of all humanity, is advancing in its quest to become a leading organization in education.
Türkiye Marif Vakfı 6 kıtaya yayılan eğitim ağının genişliğiyle dünyanın önde gelen eğitim kurumları arasında ilk 5'te yer alıyor.
All right, an important fact here. The Turkish Marif Foundation ranks among the top 5 global institutions for the extensive reach of its educational network, which spans across 6 continents.
Bu 7 yıllık bir başarı hikayesidir.
And this remarkable achievement was accomplished in just 7 years.
Büyük bir alkış hak ediyor, öyle değil mi? Bu avantajlı konumu ve misyonu ile Türkiye Marif Vakfı tarafından düzenlenen İstanbul Eğitim Zirvesi, eğitim alanında öne çıkan faaliyetlerin ve çalışmaların, geleceğe yönelik perspektiflerin, teorik yaklaşımların ve uygulamaların tartışmaya açıldığı uluslararası bir platform olmayı hedeflemektedir.
With its mission, the Istanbul Education Summit, organized by Turkish Marif Foundation, aims to be an international platform with outstanding activities and works in the area of education, where future perspectives, theoretical approaches, and practices are open to discussion.
Geçtiğimiz yıl ikincisi düzenlenen zirvede okulun geleceği pandemi sonrası eğitimin ihtiyaçları temasıyla aralarında eğitim bakanları, akademisyenler, eğitimciler ve uzmanların bulunduğu dünya çapından 35 konuşmacıya ev sahipliği yapmıştı.
Last year, with the theme The Future of the Schools, The Needs of Post-Pandemic Education, the second edition of the summit hosted 35 speakers from different countries, including education ministers, academics, educators, and experts.
Bu sene ise eğitimde değişimi yönetmek ana başlığıyla eğitim yine farklı yönleriyle ele alınacaktır. 2 gün boyunca çeşitli ülkelerden eğitim bakanlarının yer alacağı üst düzey oturum, farklı konularda 3 panel ve 3 oturum ve aynı zamanda ana tema konuşması yer alacak.
Right, and this year the main theme is leading the change in education, and that is what will be discussed with various aspects of education. And during the summit, we'll have a high-level meeting with education ministers from different countries, 3 panels and 3 sessions, plus a keynote speech.
Değil. İstanbul Eğitim Zirvesi'ni YouTube kanallarımızdan ve web sitesinden canlı olarak izleyebilirsiniz. Türkçe, İngilizce, Fransızca ve Arapça olmak üzere 4 farklı dilde yayına erişebilirsiniz. Zirveye dair sosyal medya paylaşımlarınızı #ChangeInEducation ile paylaşabilirsiniz.
To those of you who are not here, you can watch Istanbul Education Summit live on its YouTube channel and also at its website, istanbuleducationsummit.com. The languages available are Turkish, English, French, and Arabic. And also you can share your comments on social media with the #ChangeInEducation.
Şimdi sizleri daha fazla bekletmeden programımıza başlayalım.
And without further ado, let's start the third Istanbul Education Summit.
Başka bir programı sebebiyle bugün zirvemize iştirak edemeyen Sayın Cumhurbaşkanımız Recep Tayyip Erdoğan'ın mesajını iletmek üzere Türkiye Marif Vakfı Yönetim Kurulu üyesi Ahmet Türkmen'i kürsüye arz ediyorum.
Today, the President of the Republic of Turkey, His Excellency Recep Tayyip Erdoğan, could not attend the summit due to another program. To convey the President's message, I would like to invite Executive Board Member of Turkish Marif Foundation, Ahmet Türkmen, to the stage. Please.
Sayın Cumhurbaşkanımızın
I would like to extend a message of our President, Mr. Recep Tayyip Erdoğan, on the occasion of the third Istanbul Education Summit. Distinguished ministers, distinguished representatives of our education world, dear guests, I would like to wholeheartedly salute each and every one of you. And this is the third education summit organized by Istanbul Marif Foundation, and I hope that this will yield auspicious results within the theme of leading the change in education. I would like to extend my gratitude to all of the participants who will contribute to this education summit. Throughout the history, our country has hosted many places for education and for wisdom, many shipyards, and our country has been the first stop for all of these educators for long years, for centuries, and we have enlightened the path and the vision of our people. And in the last 21 years, thanks to our advancements in technology and in science, we have been a center of attraction in education as Turkey. And Turkish Marif Foundation is also contributing to our education with its richness and with its rich accumulation, and it is also transferring this education and this wisdom to all of the countries in the world. And we right now see that in order to raise qualified workforce, we are paving the way and we are contributing. And thanks to the local curriculum and with the success of the international curriculums and different projects, we are now active in as Marif Foundation in 22 countries, and we are reaching out to 52,000 students, and thanks to the education equivalence for all of our students, we are following up all the advancements and the success of our Mari Foundation, and we are also providing necessary support. And we will be one of the biggest supporters of Turkish Mari Foundation. With these sentiments, from Democratic Congo Republic to Kosovo to Serbia to Jordan, from Somalia to South Africa, from Afghanistan to Azerbaijan. We have the presence in 52 countries, and I would like to thank all the members of the foundation who are providing services in these countries in really tough conditions. They are facing all kinds of risks and menaces, and I would like to thank each and every one of you on my own behalf and on behalf of my nation. And I hope that your service will have auspicious and fruitful outcomes for us. And I would like to salute you once again, the President of the Republic of Turkey, Mr. Recep Tayyip Erdogan. I would like to thank Mr. Ahmet Bey, and I would like to thank our president, our esteemed president, for honoring our program with his message.
His message.
Şimdi Türkiye Büyük Millet Meclis Başkanımız Sayın Nurhan Kurtulmuş da size iletmek üzere bize bir mesaj göndermiş. Eğitimde değişimi yönetmek temalı İstanbul Eğitim Zirvesi'ne nazik davetiniz için teşekkür ederim. Daha önceden planlanmış programlarım nedeniyle aranızda olamıyorum. Etkinliğinizin hazırlanmasında emeği geçen herkesi tebrik ediyor. Şahsınızda tüm katılımcılara selam ve sevgilerimi iletiyorum. Biz de Sayın Numan Kurtulmuş Beyefendi'ye şükranlarımızı arz ediyoruz. Şimdi açılış konuşmasını yapmak üzere Türkiye Marif Vakfı Başkanı Sayın Profesör Doktor
Now I would like to invite Mr. Birol Akgün to the podium. He is the chairman of the Turkish Marif Foundation, Mr. Professor Dr. Birol Akgün.
Sayın çok kıymetli bakanlarım,
distinguished ministers, esteemed ambassadors
bu programa
coming from all corners of the world, our deputy ministers,
Vakfı'nın üst düzey
distinguished board of directors and representatives and directors of Turkish Marif Foundation in all levels,
başında
and our guests, our participants,
bizlere vazifelerini hakkıyla
and all of the people who are watching us on the screens, who are not present here today but who watch us. I would like to welcome all of you to the third Istanbul Education Summit.
davetimizi kırmayarak bugün bizlerle birlikte olan
And I would like to thank
birbirimizi onurlandıran
all of the ministers, our minister, Mr. Yusuf Tekin, Minister of Education, and the ministers of national education of Malaysia, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and Bosnia-Herzegovina for honoring our education summit and being with us today. At the beginning of my speech, I condemn Israel for its inhumane attacks and war crimes in Gaza. And I wish with all my heart that the human tragedy in Gaza will end as soon as possible and that the children will regain their right to education in peace and tranquility, which is their most fundamental right.
çok kıymetli misafirler.
Distinguished guests, this year we are proudly celebrating 100th anniversary of the Republic of Turkey, and taking this opportunity, I would like to respectfully commemorate the founder of our republic, Gazi Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, and his comrades. And I would like to express that we, as the Marif Foundation, Turkish Marif Foundation, are proud to be a brand of Turkey in international education, in line with the vision of the century of Turkey, put forward by our president, in line with our country's step-by-step progress towards its 2053 goals. The Marif Foundation was established in 2016 with a special law adopted by the Turkish Grand National Assembly. The aim of our foundation is to carry out formal and non-formal education activities abroad on behalf of Turkey and to develop humanitarian ties in the social and cultural fields between Turkey and the peoples of other countries. Our foundation's mission is to carry out competent educational activities based on the common accumulation of humanity all over the world and taking care of the ancient lore tradition of Anatolia and to raise virtuous individuals who will use their knowledge and wisdom for the peace of humanity. The mission and activities of our foundation essentially overlap with the goals of maintaining lasting peace all over the world, as stated in the UN's founding charter. Quality education for sustainable development, which has been declared in the United Nations 2030 vision document. In addition, the goals set out in the OECD's Education 2030 document are also followed by our foundation. In this sense, our foundations serves the establishment of a more just and livable world through education. We currently have 460 educational institutions in 52 countries. Of these, we have 437 preschool, primary and secondary schools, especially in of the schools are providing formal education at the K-12 level. We also have a university in Albania and 22 study centers in 13 countries. We provide quality, high qualified education services to more than 52,000 students in our educational institutions spread over 6 continents, with competent teachers and administrators with a leading spirit. In addition, our foundation closely cooperates with all other educational institutions, educational authorities, and academicians operating in the international arena. In this context, I would like to state that we are currently in close contact with 107 countries of the world. And I would like to state that Istanbul Education Summit is a clear manifestation of this cooperation. And I must state clearly that our foundation respects the educational policies and curricula of the countries we provide education and takes into account the unique educational needs of the countries. Our educational institutions are mostly based on and use the local curriculum of the country in which we are located. In addition, international education programs can also be implemented in our schools with the permission of the relevant governments. And we are developing the International Marif program IM, which is a unique synthesis of educational experience in 52 countries and Turkey's educational background.
Üzerinde çalıştığımız
It's a special program
müfredatımızdır.
and it's a new curriculum.
Hayat programı
And I believe that our program, which we abbreviate as IM, will soon become a source of inspiration not only for Marif schools, but also for every institution in the field of international education.
çalışmak için ortak bir zemin teşkil etmesini
And
umuyoruz.
we believe that it will lay a common basis. And IM Educational Model is a set of programs aiming to raise virtuous people who will use their knowledge and wisdom for the peace and tranquility of humanity.
Amaçla
IM
baktığımız
education programs
programları
include practices that ensure all students, regardless of their background, abilities, or characteristics, have equal access to quality education and feel valued and supported in the learning environment.
uygulamaları, prosedürleri de içermektedir.
It involves all of the procedures as well.
Katılımcılar.
Dear participants,
Türkiye Marif Vakfı,
Turkish Marif Foundation is the gateway of Turkey to education abroad. We are defining ourselves as such, as an international education network serving in different geographies of the world. While closely following the developments in international education, we also
diğer yanda
endeavor to understand and learn the unique educational content of each country.
Türkiye'nin
The activities of our foundation, which
zenginleştirmek
we are trying to, with the activities of our foundation, we are trying to enrich and share the experience of Turkey in the field of education, but it is not limited to our schools abroad. I have already stated that we are working hard for a unique K-12 curriculum with the International Marif program, and we have research and development activities in this scope. And apart from that,
yabancı dil olarak
teaching Turkish as a foreign language program has filled an important gap in the field of Turkish language. This program is over now, and in our schools and in different schools, we are providing this program to everyone who would like to use this program. And we also contribute to the internationalization of higher education with the Marif Foundation established within our organization. We have developed fruitful collaborations with many esteemed institutions, especially the prestigious universities of Turkey and the countries where we are operating. And we consider Turkey research centers we have opened in important universities of the world as a part of our public responsibility. While carrying Turkey's educational experience and know-how abroad, we also bring global developments to the agenda of our country and put them at the service of the Turkish education community. And in this sense, I would like to mention the Marif Journal of International Education, which we recently published the fifth issue, and the Turkish Marif Encyclopedia, which we prepared together with the Turkish Academy of Sciences, and the books we published under the title of Marif Global Education Series.
tüketmek isterim. Vakıf olarak
We have
bu
been
eğitim
organizing
girişimini güçlendirmek ve
Istanbul Education Summit for 3 years, In order to strengthen the interaction of the strong education network we have created as a foundation and to bring together the experience of the world, actually, we first started to think of education summit during the pandemic. We were together with our children at our homes, and we discussed about it. And we thought, how can we interact in the public area? That is how we came up with the idea of education summit. We held the second last year, and we are holding the third one this year. In 2022, we held the first Istanbul Education Summit online with the theme of new trends and transformation in education. We touched upon the impact of digitalization on internationalization of curricula and the future of education, education remodeling, and educational and social justice, education and development. So we touched upon all of these topics in the first Istanbul Education Summit, and we organized our second summit face to face in 2022 with the theme of the future of schools, needs of education after the pandemic. In the environment where we experienced the effects of coronavirus pandemic, which started in December 2019 and affected the world in a short time, we discussed the psychosocial effects of the pandemic. And now we are opening the third Istanbul Education Summit, and the theme of the summit is the leading change in education. In the summit, the struggle of human beings who are surrounded by artificial intelligence, biotechnology, and similar technologies, and to preserve their ability to think critically and remain human in the age of digitalization. So, we will be discussing all of these topics. And in the high level session of the summit, managing or leading change in education will be discussed with the contributions of the ministers of education from Malaysia, Democratic Congo, and Bosnia and Herzegovina. In the three panels to be organized afterwards, academicians and field experts will be hosted to discuss different aspects of the main theme of the summit. The panels will discuss changes in educational paradigms and philosophies and the way to preserve critical thinking skills in the age of digitalization, remaining human, and social changes and sustainability, school architecture, and the educational role of space. In addition to all of these, as I've stated in the beginning of my speech, this is the 100th anniversary of the foundation of the Republic, so we will be discussing education in the in the century of Turkey, the technology in tomorrow's education world. School administrator sessions will be organized, and the program will also be enriched with global examples in education, and we will be discussing today's Turkey and tomorrow's Turkey. With all these feelings and thoughts, I would like to express my gratitude to our ministers, ambassadors. Our minister, Mr. Ismet, is also present here today. He also honored our program. We also would like to thank our governor and our deputies, representatives of institutions, our mayors, academicians, teachers who participated and supported us in the third Istanbul Education Summit. And I would like to thank our President, Minister of National Education, and sponsoring organizations for always supporting us. And last but not least, I would like to thank the members of the Board of Trustees and the Board of Directors who also contributed to the organization of the summit. And I also would like to thank the secret heroes of this foundation, and especially for the Mr. Zeynep Arikan, who contributed to the organization of this summit, and she's also the member of the board of trustees. So all of our friends contributed to this organization day and night, 7 days, 24 hours, with all of their efforts. And I hope that the summit will be successful. And I extend my sincere regards to each and every one of you. I would like to thank Mr. Biral Akgün, the chairman of Istanbul Marif Foundation. Now, I would like to thank Mr. Yusuf Tekin, the Minister of National Education of the Republic of Turkey.
To the stage, please welcome His Excellency Yusuf Tekin.
Distinguished ministers, ambassadors, our rector colleagues, and the chairman and the board of trustees of Turkish Mari Foundation, and all the representatives who have ever put their effort in the development of Turkish Mari Foundation, and academics among us who are waiting to contribute to this process, to esteemed teachers. I would like to present you a big welcome to this event. You honored us with your presence. Just as Mr. Akgün, I would like to start my speech by underlining a few remarks. First of all, we are experiencing the 100th anniversary of Turkish Republic, and as our president has stated, the new 100th anniversary, new century for Turkey, for the new Turkey, will be crowned by much never a novel success. Also, in the recent days, we commemorated the 85th anniversary of the death of our nation's founder, Mustafa Kemal Atatürk. I would like to hereby commemorate all our martyrs, starting from Mr. Mustafa Kemal Atatürk to all his comrades and all the soldiers who have shed their blood for the independence of this country. I would like to say that, as you all know, next week, 24th of November, is the Teachers' Day, and I would like to celebrate all the teachers in this hall. Maybe a last round of statement could be the UNESCO General Conference in the last weeks, and education for peace was one of the topics in one of the panels. But as we are talking about education, and peace in education is actually hindered by the attacks of Israel on civilians, on schools and in hospitals in Gaza, resulting in the displacement of tens of thousands of our Palestinian friends, among which the students, the children are present. They are dying, they are being martyred, and I would like to condemn Israel for doing this and attacking on civilians and children and the non-military staff. I would like to underline the importance that the international organizations should do their best in order to prevent a war and recognize Palestine as a liberal and independent state. After these statements, I would also express my happiness on something. Turkish Marif Foundation I think it was in 2013. I don't know if it is very proper to say, but in 2013, the process of the foundation of Turkish Marriage, the Turkish Marriage Foundation, I was one of the founders, and therefore I am very proud to see its success in 52 countries and in 22 countries and reaching out to 52,000 students. This makes me very proud, and therefore I would like to thank Professor Dr. Nabi Avcı, our then minister, and also Ismet Kurnaz and many other colleagues such as Professor Dr. Birol Akgün, the chairman of the Mari Foundation since its establishment, and all my brothers and sisters who have put their effort in the foundation and flourishing of Turkish Mari Foundation. You know the dimension of the success that we have achieved. Perhaps you may not be able to realize the extent of our success yet, but I believe that in the future, when we look back, we will clearly understand what your present day efforts will come to. I am very happy our esteemed president, then our prime minister, told us we should do whatever it was needed, and we did that. We did do our negotiations, and we came up with the idea of Turkish Mari Foundation. Our mission was always the educational success of Turkey, and again Turkey becoming a role model for the international educational institutions. We wanted to show the world that Turkey could build an educational model that would pioneer many other models in the world. And this is what we have succeeded in doing in our structure. We see that we have reached our goals in this new educational system we wanted to build. Turkish Mari Foundation as a philosophy wants to raise the good person equipped with the skills and competences of the day, who is able to think analytically, embracing all the scientific endeavors of the time, and also equipped with humanitarian values, sensitive to environment, respectful for the human rights, and healthy in terms of its physical and psychological unity. A person who is fond of their nation and who does everything they can in order to help the development of their country. So this human profile that we wanted to create has another quality, which is to leave a sustainable world for the future generations, and a person, an individual who is always sharing and is always at peace. So therefore, these qualities that we want to achieve in our students, we are organizing a lot of events. The third of our international education summit is being organized today, and our foundation will be hosting many academics and field experts and representatives of industries. And in terms of educational institutions, we are bringing together all the international education, the best ones, of course, the international educational institutions together today to exchange ideas, to discuss different approaches to education, and to share the opinions about global values of education. We know that we have many representatives of international education among among us today. We also have policymakers from other countries in their educational endeavors and structures. Therefore, I believe that this conference will contribute to the benefit of many children in the world. In today's and tomorrow's panels, we will be talking about the paradigm shifts in education, the critical thinking and the way to preserve it in the digital era, and sustainability in social changes, and the informative role of school architecture, etc., etc. Especially the world of tomorrow and the role of technology in the world of tomorrow will be one of our focal points in discussion. Distinguished guests, equality in education, fairness in education is a must for us. And as we are managing this change, as we are leading this change in education, we have to put all our efforts to create an equality of opportunities for each and every child in the world. As Turkish Ministry of Education, of National Education, we would like to live in a country where everybody has an equality of opportunities and everybody could receive an education in a fair and in a just manner. In this context, all our reference values should be possessed, should be owned, and we also have to catch up with the latest advancements in technology and in education. This is very, very critical for us. Now, I would like to cut my speech short because I don't want this schedule to be late, but before that, I would like to open something for discussion. In the days that we live in, as our esteemed president has mentioned, and the domineering political system in the world is challenged by Turkey with the motto of the world is bigger than five. And this motto actually sheds light upon the change that we are talking about today. So, in your panels, perhaps you will put this into discussion as well, because the world's going through a huge change, and some of these changes are recognizable by us personally through technological developments and advancements, etc. Something, a very high tech, opportunity that we had 5 years ago is the out of fashion and outdated property of today. Therefore, the world's changing and there are different paradigms, and the fiction for the state is changing and the structure for politics is changing, etc. And as our president puts it, the world and the governments in the world need to keep up with the pace of this change. The economic regulations in the world is changing. The economic order that is based on the capital structures of the world is being changed at the moment. And in the face of all these changes, and with the new world order, we are doing ourselves to make Turkey a part of this change by shifting all our paradigms to the changing world and its requirements. What I would like to emphasize is that in the new world order that's being established as we speak, we are always against to the references and the systems of the capital forces. We should not be expressing ourselves through their systems. In this period in which we started the new century of Turkey, this common system, this capitalist system, should be fought with, and we have to replace it with our own and national values and virtues and our humanitarian basis, and also under the light of the technological advancements in the world. So we have to come up with a brand new educational system and an educational philosophy. We have to do that. Therefore, I actually expect from this summit, with all its panels, etc., is to read this change in the world in a correct way and to create something that belongs to us, something that reflects our qualities, as something that we could use to educate our next generations. I believe that the discussions out of these panels will result in such a system. And not only with this summit, we have academics in many universities who are putting forth some opinions about educational structures. We have NGOs who are working for educational systems, etc. We have our, politicians, our diplomats, our bureaucrats, and many people in our country, our colleagues, I would like to call them, and invite all of them to put forth with new opinions for a better and more robust educational system in Turkey, so that Turkey will have its place in the world as a strong country with strong education. We have to make it happen. I would like to cut my words short, and especially in our journey, which I wanted to summarize in my speech, I hope that our success of establishing this foundation will shed light upon many future successes. I would like to again thank to everybody in this hall who have contributed for the realization of this summit. Thank you very much. We thank our esteemed minister for his valuable speech. We would like to keep you on the stage a little more, Mr. Minister, because our chairman, Mr. Birol Akgün, would like to present you with a gift, a plate. Thank you very much.
The Turkish Mar Foundation continues to make a name for itself with its in-school and out-of-school practices in the field of education and all over the world.
As of 2023, in their fifth year, the Good Practices in Education initiatives highlight the Marif school culture through educational practices, fostering a positive school environment and facilitating the transfer of educational culture across generations.
Today, we will present 8 good practices in education from different countries. The first one is from Bosnia and Herzegovina. Let's see what they have accomplished. A 4-language dictionary project in a multilingual school culture.
Moje ime je Azra Kadrić, profesorica sam turskog jezika i književnosti. Svoje obrazovanje sam stekla dijelom u Turskoj, dijelom u Sarajevu. Što se tiče same ideje, ove 3 učenice koje su učestvovale u projektu su bile zainteresirane da svoje znanje turskog jezika poboljšaju kroz dodatne časove turskog jezika. Te iste časove smo organizirali nakon redovne nastave. One su svakako svojim dolascima, svojom odgovornošću doprinijele da imamo i konačan rezultat. A u biti sve počelo tako što smo spojile konverzacijski čas turskog jezika u isto vrijeme ovaj projekat gdje smo spojili, da kažemo, te dvije komponente. Što se tiče samih faza ovog projekta, prvo smo odlučile koji će to biti jezici na kojima ćemo pripremiti riječi, zatim smo, budući da imamo učenike možda koji ne znaju ni bosanski, ni turski, ni engleski, ni arapski jezik, odlučili da pronađemo i odgovarajuće fotografije gdje će, kada prvi put vide taj rječnik, na osnovu fotografije razumjeti o kojoj riječi je riječ. Naš projekat predstavljen je široj javnosti na sajmu nauke koji je održan u prostorijama škola Marif.
U What kept us excited was that we worked as a group. When we had our breaks, It was always fun. That what kept us all the time motivated. It was never boring for us.
The most exciting part was knowing that other students will benefit from it as much as I benefited from it.
Kada je u pitanju naš projekat, ono što su učenice i drugi učenici naučili jeste prvenstveno oni koji su radili na projektu da trebaju da dobro koordiniraju.
At the beginning, it was so difficult for me following the 3 languages that I don't know. I came here just knowing Arabic and a little English. I started to learn Turkish, English and Bosnian. Now I know English, Bosnian, and I know a little Turkish. Our friends were excited to start learning a new language, especially the students who are beginners for these languages.
Also noticed that a lot of words are similar between Arabic and Turkish. For example, Bosnian or Turkish, Bosnian or Arabic. The word kitab is similar in both Arabic and Turkish language. The only difference is in pronunciation. Even the word makas, chai, aile, and many more are really the same meaning but different pronunciation.
The idea of our dictionary was a so nice idea that it doesn't look like each dictionary you just see. It's not full of text. You won't get bored of it. You will see pictures that will make it way easier for you to understand the language and what you're reading. You won't get bored or annoyed from it. You will have a lot of small dialogues that will help you a lot if you travel.
I have learned how to work in a group, how to organize stuff on time, and I have learned some new words in Turkish. My favorites were bal, sakız, and şeftali.
From my opinion, from what I learned, time or any difficulties won't stop you from doing what you're willing to do.
The most important thing that I learned in this activity that no matter what, nothing is impossible. And always remember that your only limit is you.
Na našim prostorima postoji jedan izraz gdje kažemo kad se male ruke slože, sve se.
You know, Afnan, one thing that I find quite fascinating about this video and this project is the fact that with this project, the students are learning teamwork, organization of the stops, and also words from 4 different languages. That's quite fascinating, isn't it?
Right, and I guess the most important part was what one of the students, Kamar, said, that your only limit is you. In Marif school culture, students learn the importance of working together, like the teacher Azra there emphasized at the end, saying that everything is possible when little hands join together.
Indeed, and now it is time, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to introduce our first session, which is the high-level meeting called Leading the Change in Education.
Leading the Change in Education is a dynamic and transformative endeavor that holds the potential to shape the future of society. It requires visionary leadership, innovative thinking, and a commitment to creating an educational landscape that aligns with the evolving needs of learners and the demands of an ever-changing world.
Ministers of education from across the world will be joining us to discuss our main theme. First and foremost, I would like to invite Minister of Education of Canton Sarajevo, Bosnia-Herzegovina, Her Excellency Naida Hota Muminovic. Please.
Right here. Welcome. And the Minister of Primary, Secondary, and Technology from the Democratic Republic of the Congo, His Excellency Tony Mwaba Kazadi. Welcome, Mr. Kazadi.
And now I would like to invite Minister of Education from Malaysia, Her Excellency Fadlina Binte Sadek. Welcome, Ms. Sadek.
Mr. Kazadi, you can have a seat right here. Welcome to the program. And to moderate the first session of the Istanbul Education Summit, I would like to invite the president of the Turkish Marif Foundation to the stage. Please welcome Professor Dr. Birol Akgün.
Welcome.
Professor Akgün and our distinguished guests, have a great session.
Good morning, everybody. For the first session, I would like to welcome to all our guests, our participants, our honorable ministers from different geographies of the world, as Turkmar Foundation representing the multiplicity of understanding of education, also education leadership in different societies and different cultures. This morning, as a first plenary session of our third Istanbul Education Summit, actually, we will discuss main theme of our program, which is the leading the change in educational transformation or transformation in education. Well, actually, it is a kind of magic word, change. Everybody wants to change, but how it is to be changed and who will lead it and how to involve people at large, persuading them to change. Everybody talk about change, but it is not me. Well, somebody else must do it. Somebody must lead it. Not me, but others must change. No, it is not the case. Okay. Well, first of all, if you are talking about the change, again, it is, well, technology driven sometimes. Indeed, I have been checking through the trends. What are the main trends international educators and the academics and intellectuals are actually discussing based on the literature? Most repeated themes in academia literature is, well, policy-oriented discussion, top 10 education trends, increase in education funding. Well, being politician always requires some money to, invest in education. This is really an expensive issue. That's in Turkey. Maybe Minister didn't say exactly. 17 million students who are enrolled in Turkish K-12 schools, pre-university level, as well as far as I know, more 7 million for higher education, a total of 25 million students just in Turkey. How to manage them, control them, providing the facility, technology, and catching up with the new developments and competing with the rest of the world. That's a big challenge. Boosting teaching profession, supporting it always. It's a part of reform agenda, how to train teachers first to change the education system. Promoting science of reading and mathematics. Well, teams exams, especially internationally, PISA exams, nations competing with each other, who is doing better. Providing free school meals. Turkey is discussing as well for the issue. Providing free school meals, reimagining education system, how to plan a better education system for tomorrow. Just our minister open discussion, offering education choices for everybody. Everybody's talking about the individualization of education, depending on not only for special education needs, like disabilities, for inclusion them to the system, but also based on the preference of the young generation. We were talking about Generation Z. Well, now Generation Alpha is coming back, huh? So how to meet them? Well, in our generation, we are Generation X. How can we understand Generation Z and Generation Alpha and redesign or reimagine our system for tomorrow's world? Well, these are big challenges for everybody, for intellectuals, for academia, everybody supporting student and educator mental health in this world, reforms schools, improve school system. These are top 10 agenda of international discussing in the international research market. Well, technology is of course one part, just a few subtopic of technology. Mobile learning and digital content platforms. This is an emerging area of study. Just in the time of especially coronavirus pandemics, everybody had to depend on technology, LMS technology, and internet-based educational means. Mobile learning and digital content platforms, artificial intelligence-powered learning environments, augmented reality and virtual reality, gamification of learning. New generation wants more game rather than didactic understanding of education. And wearable technology, not only telephones, but more usable friendly technology. I love the list goes and on. Well, my first question for the ministers, technically speaking, in their country, how do they understand and how do they deal with this new emerging educational issue as a top minister, top figure of the public figure, top politician in your country, as the Minister of Education in your specific respective nation? I will start with just Madam Fatma Bint Sadik. Maybe 10 minutes at the first turn, then we will discuss other question each after the first evaluation. Please.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. Have you been to Malaysia before?
I did.
Okay. Now, let me begin to introduce, brief you about my beautiful country. Malaysia is a unique country. We celebrate diversities. We have multi-ethnics, multi-dialects, and multi-racial. So our specialties actually dealing with how to manage diversity in our country. That is number one. Number two, when we talk about diversity, we must understand that we have so many things to deal with. The cultural background, the religious background, and the social background. So being the most complex ministry, being the first lady minister in education especially, and being in a huge ministry, we have 5 million students, more than 10,000 schools in Malaysia. So I look forward for this discussion to share the best practice from other countries, of course from my colleagues, and of course from Turkey. Thank you. Thank you for the first round. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, it's just short, brief, but to the point, precise. Thank you very much for the minister. Now, the second turn is Mr. Tony Kazadi from Democratic Republic of Congo. It's your turn, sir.
Merci, Monsieur le Président, de la parole.
Thank you so much. Thank you for giving me the floor, and thank you for inviting us to the third Istanbul Education Summit. You honored us. We will be talking about education, and it's a great pleasure for me to in Istanbul. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, and the representatives of protocol in May 22, as you know, in Democratic Congo Republic, we have signed a memorandum of understanding, and Turkey and Democratic Congo Republic signed a memorandum of understanding, and thanks to this MOU, we are working together and we are going to exchange and share all the best practices in education. And Turkish Mari Foundation played a vital role for this. And from Congo's side, the ministry was involved. And once again, I would like to repeat that I am very pleased and honored to be here. And we are now exchanging our views and experiences in the field of education. Before starting my presentation, I would like to do my duty. The Democratic Republic of Congo uh, would like to thank Turkish Mari Foundation. So, on behalf of my republic, I would like to extend my thanks because thanks to this panel, we are going to share our views and we are going to benefit from the discussions here. And please always remember that the visionary leaders in the field of education are actually actualizing a dream in the area of education. And if we define our goals, then we will be able to reach our goals. And we are going to shape our desired future, and we will be able to leave status quo. And if we look at the education system, we see blockages like it is frozen. But again, the world is changing very rapidly, and there is a need for change. There is a need for renewal. And our education system has been static for a long time as we are exploited from Belgium. After the first reforms, we haven't changed our systems. And these all of these started during that time, and that is the our education system started in the colonialized period, and in 1962 we have post-colonialized reforms, and after 1963 we were able to reach our sovereignty in June 1960, and our country abandoned metropolitan system, and we have 6 years of primary schools and 6 years of secondary schools, and we divided them into groups, and as of that time we have many reforms. And in our education system we have didactic approaches, and it is our utmost effort and goal to have didactic approaches, and we are trying to develop the know-how of our students. And thanks to these changes, our students will be able to serve to their nation, and our vision has changed and we are targeting 2016 2025 years the secretarial strategy of education, and we have now strategic goals for education, and we can divide them into three groups. The first one is reachability, and of course we need to widespread the education for and all of our students can reach education, regardless of their ethnicity, regardless of their religion. We would like to include, we would like to cover all of our students so that we will be able to create an equality in terms of reaching to education. And for the food, the canteens of the schools are properly organized, and in starting from 2016, according to our law, now the primary school is obligatory and free of charge, and for the last 13 years this is ready, but we cannot apply it. This is not enforced. But after Mr. Felix came to power, and now these decisions were adopted. And the first primary school is free of charge, and mothers and fathers don't have any financial obligation or burden in terms of money. And because normally 5 million students left homes as they didn't have money. But now, as the education is free of charge, all of the students can reach education, and with new facilities and new structures, they are able to reach education, and they are able to go to school. Thanks to this innovation, we are able to reach this goal. And secondly, we are for the learners, for the students, we are going to provide education according to the international standards as desired by our people. We are in a war of hegemonia, and from Rwanda, it is coming. This is coming from Rwanda, and you know what is happening in Rwanda, and the aim is that they are trying to attack the east territory of our country, and they are trying to attack our richness and. After this, we are looking for peace, and of course, the management system, governance systems are very important for us in terms of education. We are paying utmost importance to governance. We closed some of the schools, and we trained many of our teachers, and we also had young people in the team of the teachers in our ministry. Uh, we retired the elderly, and we hired the young professionals in our ministry, and you can see it in our ministry and in the public institutions. The the curricula has changed as well for all of our students, and all of the students were included in the system, especially in terms of creativity. Our education system is showing performances.
In our In our endeavors, we have provided some nice targets for each city, and we have created some strategies for them. And thanks to these strategies, we can battle the movements that are against our system. Our priority is to strengthen our weaknesses. We have to get rid of them, and we hope that we can liberate the minds of the youth, and we can prepare them for better tomorrows. I think that's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
Mr. Tony Kazadi, for your excellent presentation, providing a good background of educational issues in the context of Democratic Republic of Congo. Well, every country has its own unique experience and challenges for political or other reasons, but there's always good hope for strengthening our educational system for tomorrow's generation. Now, the third speaker is Her Excellency Ms. Naida Hudaminovic. She was talking about the Bosnian education. What's your challenge and what's your agenda?
Thank you so much, Professor Akün. Distinguished colleagues, ministers, distinguished excellencies, especially teachers, educators. Fadlina, I dare not ask how many of the people here have been in Bosnia and Herzegovina. How many of you? More hands? Yes.
More than one.
Yes. I believe that we are celebrating diversity at the Istanbul Educational Summit. And this was all a dream, I believe, even before 2016, when the MARF Foundation has been established. And everything really begins with a dream, with a vision. Bosnia and Herzegovina is in the Balkans. It has a long history of changes. It was a medieval state, a medieval kingdom, and it has its own church, the Church of Bosnia, the Bosnian Church, and by Vatican, it was seen as a heretic church, and many crusades have been launched against the Bosnian Church, but somehow the Bosnian establishment, the people and the rulers managed to avoid them. It was a unique technique, I think, of diplomacy and of flexibility, probably. Later, we have a shared part of history with the Ottoman Empire, and from that time, we bear a tradition of one of the oldest formal schools. The Gazi Husrev Bey's Madrasa was founded in 1537, and today we are so proud to have the heritage of one of the oldest schools in Europe. It is not the oldest in the European continent, but it is among the senior schools in Europe. And imagine what? It was named after a woman, Gazi Husrev Bey's mother, Seljuka. It was called the Seljukiya Madrasa. Her name was lost during history. Today, the school, the madrasa, modernized and transformed, is called after its founder, the Gazi Husrev Bey. Later, we belonged to the Austro-Hungarian Empire after the Congress of Berlin. Between the First and Second World War, Bosnia was split between, and it was part of the kingdom of Slovenians, Croats and Serbs. And it was a very tough period for, it was an attack, I would say, on diversity in Bosnia and Herzegovina. During the Second World War, Bosnia and Herzegovina has chosen the right side, and it took part in anti-fascist fight against Nazism and fascism. And it's unique, and we are so proud of this. Sarajevo was occupied by the Nazis, and this is very important to notice because we are talking about change, and in education, you cannot think about any change in education without the global context, the historic context. For example, Sarajevo was occupied by the fascist regime at the beginning of the Second World War, and it remained occupied. And when Jewish citizens were deported to concentration camps, Bosnia and Herzegovina citizens and Sarajevo inhabitants, the establishment, very distinguished citizens, made a declaration against this. So they urged to the authorities to stop the deportations. And there were many signs of civil disobedience because the Sarajevo people wanted to stop this. This is a unique position nowadays because this position gives us the right, and especially another moment in time when Jews and Muslims were deported from Spain in the 15th century, they were all welcomed in Sarajevo too, which was a part of the Ottoman Empire then. So Sarajevo showed hospitality back in the 15th century. These two moments in history give us such a unique position that we can today even preach about how important it is to choose the right side of history. And this is why we have a unique position and the duty to call for an immediate stop of war and attacks of the Gazans people. Actually 2 weeks ago, and I will round us up this first question and session, Professor Agün just announced.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, I was in Vienna. It was a general assembly on a project called School Food for Change. And it was held in the Vienna Rathaus, which is a city council. And by the end of my address, and I pointed out the two very unique moments in history there too, I reminded all educators and decision makers and policy and opinion makers that whenever we dream big dreams for our own children, students, learners, and teachers, we have to dream big dreams for the whole world, for every child in the world. And I believe that this vision, as a benchmark, I would say, as a standard, will guarantee success. Only this vision, that values do not belong to us, they're common good, and they have to be shared, expanded. They have to be transposed. Only this vision will make any change possible, locally and globally. So with this vision in mind, I believe that we will be able to educate new generations. And by the way, I have a problem with the English word educate and education. It somehow seems to be so technical. It seems to be so narrow. It seems to be so achievement oriented. In Bosnian language, and in Turkish too, I think, there is another word. It's linked to the upbringing. It's linked to fostering the character. It's linked to opening minds. And I believe that only by this vision in mind and by attaching to education, to achievement, the well-being and the development of the character strength and values, we will be able to make a generation that will be able to know how to navigate through change. They cannot bring change, they can probably navigate through different scenarios.
Thank you, Madam Minister Buminovic, for your excellent remarks and providing a background of Bosnian education. Well, this turn a kind of setting a ground, at least for background of education in different societies for different needs. Maybe now we will just step up a little bit further for, well, technology, the use of technology, especially in education. The evolving philosophy of paradigms in education is, of course, a complex and dynamic process, particularly in the context of ongoing high-speed digitalization of the societies, not only in education. There is diverging views on that. As we explore these changes, we also must consider the contrast between traditional teacher-centered educational approach versus the impact of increased digitalization and new trends in pedagogies in the digital world. It is not a one-way street. There are critics as well. It is concern that we have to take into account. Some argue that an over-reliance on digital tools might compromise the human element in education. We should lose humanity in education, personalization of education, character building aspects of education. Personal connections between teachers and students also is a valuable factor in the face-to-face education that has been established in the last century, in the 19th century, and still it's a matter of today's world as well. But digitalization raises concerns about the access to technology, creating potential disparities in education and losing the human context. My question will to the ministries, distinguished ministries in your country, how to discuss this issue, person yourself, and especially academics, and also government policy to digitalization in education. How does it affect individual countries, in each case, in Malaysia, in Democratic Republic of Congo, and Bosnia Herzegovina? Again, we can go with our close one, Madam Minister Fatlan, please.
Thank you, Ustaz. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. Now, like you said, change is a must.
Yeah.
Change is a must. But like what my friend just now, my colleague stated just now, the importance of change is not about you just change everything, but how you navigate the change. So, Ustaz, my personal opinion would be whatever change we want to do, the moral compass should be our main navigation. We have to maintain that. We talk about digitalization. Yes, we welcome the technology. We talk about artificial intelligence. Yes, we cannot, and in any ways, we cannot just ignore the technologies. But we have to maintain that the moral values, the character values of the teachers and the children must be our utmost, or our important values must be instilled in our children. In that case, Ustaz, I think when we talk about the change that we need to address, and the most important thing that policy-wise that we must look, of course, is always about the budget. Yeah, Malaysia is dedicated to develop an equitable and globally competitive society, and it's worth emphasizing that the Ministry of Education of Malaysia holds the primary position as the largest recipients of funds in the Malaysian 2024 budget. So we are in the billions club. This carries a significant responsibility in ensuring that the efficient utilization of the budget, especially when it comes to promote equity and enhance our global competitiveness, including in digital world. Now, the 2024 budget reinforces educational support for students, aiming to provide equality in education and promote global competitiveness with a substantial allocation designed to enhance and maintain various types of schools, with a specific focus not just on digitalization infrastructure, but also enhancing infrastructure and support equipment for students with special needs. This reaffirms our commitment for equity and inclusion in education to ensure that no student is left behind. We also thus build synergies and collaborations with industry among ministries, universities, and also other countries, especially to provide comprehensive education exposure and cultivate global competitiveness, particularly in the field of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We also committed in fostering lifelong learning opportunities by integrating global citizenship education into our curriculum. This incorporation will instill qualities such as resilience, growth mindset, and the development of a future-ready generation. So we also won a lot of awards, and our commitment not gone unnoticed, as evidenced by our receipt of the 2021 UNESCO Wenhui Award Honorable Commendation for innovative educational responses to COVID-19. Furthermore, we persist that promoting the voices of young people through collaborative programs with UNICEF and the United Nations. I would like to end my second round of this discussion with this symbol. Can anyone share with me what does this mean? If it's moving, it's mean funding. Yeah. So our education system, not just lack of funding, but also lack of love. So we must start education system with the love of the education, with the love of God, and with the love of the people. This morning, Professor Yusuf, the Minister of Turkey, has conveyed a very strong message to me. He told me that, sister, the message that we must pass on to the next generation is a message of brotherhood, is a message of peace education, and the message of humanity. And this would be our commitment for the next generation. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Fadla bint Sadiq. Well, inspiring last remarks, especially for the future, passing the message of peace to our young generation. It's a good message in this context of nowadays in the world as well. I'm turning now to Tony Kazadi. Actually, he summarized his efforts to improve educational system for everybody, how to make it more accessible at the very primary level of education, especially in a post-colonial context in Democratic Congo. And I'm sure they achieved a lot for the providing equal access to everybody. But in terms of use of technology in education, where are you now? And at this point, what is your vision in terms of understanding the use of technology in your specific country, sir?
Merci, Monsieur le Président, de la parole.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for giving me the floor. Now, in Congo, for the digitalization, of course, digitalization is on the agenda for both communication channels and education channels. This is a parameter that we attach importance, and I can say that especially during the COVID-19 crisis, as you would remember, this we were deeply affected by this crisis altogether, and many education systems, including us, were harmed at that time. And we have seen the limits of our education system, and the COVID 19 pandemic hit us very sharply. And I will give you some idea about that. And for example, 3 months the schools were closed in 2021, 2022. All the curricula were stopped, and all the programs were halted due to the COVID-19 pandemic. We couldn't continue our training, our education, our physical education in the classrooms, and we couldn't continue our face to face communication and face to face education. The schools were closed, and on taking this opportunity, taking this chance, we made some examinations, and we were able to see the boundaries of our school system. And we know that before COVID 19, there was the issue of online education in some schools. We know that. And they were using the novel technologies and education systems. But for the other countries, they were amazed, like us, because we didn't have e learning before, or internet training education, because the students were at home for 3 months. And while we were facing these consequences, we were in despair. There was a loss of motivation among the children, and even distance learning. You need to do something for these children so that they will be able to pause their attention to the education. Otherwise, um, they would not continue at their education. And during COVID, we wanted the children to continue their education, but we didn't have any preparations beforehand. So because we didn't know we are going to have such a crisis, and so we actually improvised. We improvised our education, and we wanted our students to spend their lives, because we are 2.5 kilometer square country. We have over 700,000 educators, and we have over 30 million students. So we have many students, and we have, the loss of internet, and the cuts of electricity, for example. Yes, we have taken a decision that we will have online education, but it was really tough to reach everything online. And we are talking about inequality, and we are talking about social discrimination in big countries, sorry, in big cities, for example, in metropolitan cities. The students were able to reach online education, but for our students who are living in rural areas, it was really tough for them to reach online education. So we need to have a permanent education system, a resilient one. That is why, starting from today, and maybe more than everything, we need these technologies. We need to benefit from these technologies. And we need to include the new technologies into our education program. And for example, everyone should reach electricity, everyone should reach internet without any cuts, and so that we will be able to reach all of the students, starting from the farthest point of the country. We need to have alternative mechanisms like tablets, for example, because in tablets, sometimes tablets may have their own internet, and sometimes tablets don't need electricity all the time, maybe. Or we can have renewable energy systems, especially for the electricity cuts or internet interruptions. What can we do for the cutoffs? We need to work on this. We need to find alternative ways, because the new technology has been imposed on us, as our colleagues said. We need to pay attention to ethics, and we need to see that if something is against our culture, against our country's values, then we need to get rid of them. And for the distance learning education systems, we need to use them in a transformative manner. For example, think of a student, and the physical interaction and face-to-face education is very important for both a student and a teacher. So for example, there should be maybe a hybrid way for this, because we need to have interaction to be continued in the schools, and the parents should also pay attention to follow up the students. And it is really an important task on the shoulders of the parents. The parents should spend some time, because they are also the active players of the whole system. I mean, if something is planned in the school, the parents should follow up as well. And the budget is also of crucial importance, as you know. We also allocated a budget for this, and I will say that our budget on education is even more than a civil defense. But of course, budget is always limited, and our government has allocated a fund for training and education. And thanks to this fund, if we need something other than budget, we can benefit from this fund, and we can overcome some difficulties. And in our country, in the Democratic Republic of Congo, this is the experience that we have so far.
Regarding your approach and understanding of the technology use in your country, which is the same, of course, in different societies. There's great challenges. Now returning to Minister of Education of Bosnia Herzegovina, again, Naida Muminovic. You provide a good background of the past education and today. What, in terms of technology use, again, following up the same issue, where you are now and what's your plan for adapting the technology, especially in education?
Thank you. Let me just briefly come back again to one of the oldest schools in Europe. In the foundation papers, in the Vakufnama of the Gazi Husrev Beg's madrasa school, it is said that in this school there are going to be subjects taught, and then there are subjects. And now pay attention. And other subjects that time will demand. And it was the 15th century. I believe that today's time demands the knowledge about digitalization. And today's time demands digital skills. And it is on us, teachers, parents, educators, ministers, principals, adults, to make good use of technology and digital processes. Teachers were so shocked when ChatGPT was released. They felt so helpless. They said, what can we do now? We cannot assign a single essay topic to our students for homework. And this indicates that we are several steps behind the present moment as educational communities. And this indicates that we have to make a very fast paradigm shift. This will urge educators all around the world to reshape the way they are posting homework assignments and tests in general. This tool will make them be more creative and make us be more creative when teaching, when leading our learners through their cognitive areas that we want to achieve with them. And it is never a problem with digital tools, because science gives us so many examples of misuse of science. History is full of examples how scientific achievement can be used to damage the civilization, to damage life, the essential right to live. Phosphorus bombs, for example, are a product of scientific labs, of scientists' minds. But it is up to us to foster a new generation of learners who will put a scientific achievement through the filters of ethics. They will have to stop and to think, is it ethical? Will it make damage to the environment, to other human beings, to culture? Sarajevo was bombed. It was under a siege, a brutal siege, from 1992 to 1996. And it was bombed on a daily basis. Libraries were burned down. And, you know, people who made the agenda for this destructive aggression were very high-ranking academic persons. So let us not be afraid of digital processes, of digital tools. We have to use them for further development. And we have to use them as an opportunity to show our students how we can use and misuse the digital tools. Another thing to use digitalization in terms of improving the standards of values in our society is digitalization brings so many transparency to processes, you know. It can be used. And we have an example in the Sarajevo canton with the enrollment in kindergartens in Sarajevo canton. This was one of the recent projects that we have done. We digitalized the process of enrollment in kindergartens. And believe me, it was tough. It was very hard. Not because of technical requirements, we solved them, but because of the lack of readiness by parents to go into the digital process of getting a score under certain criteria and applying to a kindergarten without having to find the minister, the principal of the kindergarten, anyone in the ministry, without having to find a recommendation to enroll your child in a kindergarten. because previously the practice was that you had very closed system of enrolling children into kindergartens. And this was a damage to values too, because we were talking about equal opportunities to education for both a physician's, a doctor's child, and a nurse's child, and a teacher's child, and a cleaner's child. So equal opportunity means equal opportunity. You have the criteria, you have the score, and then you apply. And this is an example how we really used the process of digitalization in terms of improving and adopting our population, the parents, to new values. And now it was very hard in the first year. Now they're all happy with it. They love it. You know, they don't have to go and say, please, can you do me a favor? I have a child at home and I need a place for him or her in the kindergarten. So I believe that together with our flexibility, raising awareness about what are the good and the bad sides of digitalization, by fostering resilience with our children, resilience in terms of how they use technology, how much time do they spend there, does it harm their inner being, does it dehumanize or does it humanize? So these are the questions that we have to ask as teachers, educators, ministers, parents every day. And school is not about, you know, content in classrooms. It's never about the content in classrooms. This is just one part of education. There are so many other opportunities outside classrooms for teachers to use and to shape a better world, developing and aiming at both achievement and performance and the well-being. So by being attractive, by being competitive to all the anti-values, we can develop a very resilient and a very aware educational system, which means a future resilient and aware citizens of our countries and the world.
Thank you, thank you. That is a great, excellent speech, inspiring. Based on real experience, I understand that is why this plenary session was about bring the ministers. They know, I mean, what's happening in the field. I did. Thank you. For the last, the final turn, of course, our theme of the Istanbul Education Summit of 23 is leading the change in transformation of education. Then I would ask, as the leader of the change, for our ministries, what do you think what the roles the visionary leadership and innovative thinking plays in driving meaningful change in educational system, especially if you can relate to this not only for yourself but and education leaders, the role of the teachers, especially in classrooms or school management and educational leadership. What roles do they play, or can they play with their creative and visionary leadership in school environment? Please, again, from your Ms. Fadla.
The round?
I think so.
This is the final round.
Yeah,
okay.
Please.
Are you still with us, everybody? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Now, can you name me? Yeah? Can you name me one or what are the problems in this world that you really want to resolve? One problem that you think that we need to resolve this problem. One problem in this world. Anybody? Yes. Wars, pollution. Yes. So we got so many problems with that now. Yeah. Now, when we talk about problems, we need problem solver. That's why I think in education system, we need to focus more on how to empower our students to become problem solvers, innovators, and adaptable individuals who can actively contribute to build a sustainable future. So in Malaysia, Ustaz, we firmly believe in a results-oriented and data-driven approach as demonstrated in the implementation of our Malaysian education blueprint. So we have all these techniques, tools, dashboards, data visualization, change management, and effective communication. And these methods continuously monitor, evaluate, and improve the performance and outcomes of our educational system. We also collaborate with a wide and diverse network of stakeholders comprising students, teachers, parents, school teachers, district education officers, state education departments, and other related agencies. This is purposely designed to harness the collective efforts and contribution diverse stakeholders to lead and bring out effective transformation of education, which leads to positive change. Now, we cannot talk about how to lead education, how to lead the change without the machineries, the people itself. So I think the most important role that we have to play is the role of the teachers and educators is very crucial and vital. There's one beautiful tradition spelled out by Imam, the great Imam of Abu Hanifa, when he chose his own teacher, Hamad bin Sulaiman. This is a great story, Ustaz. So when he chose his teacher, he set out some rules, some characteristics that this teacher must be A, B, C. So what he found in Hamad bin Sulaiman is, I quote in Arabic, وجدته شيخا وقورا حليما صبورا. Or educators simplified in this story by Abu Hanifa. So this Hamad bin Sulaiman, this great teacher, is the Shaykhan wa Quran, like you. The man of authority, number one. Number two, Shaykhan Haliman, polite. All of us agreed on this stage that we must maintain values, ethics, and navigate the future with love and ethics. So yes, Haliman. And the third one is Saburan fil umur. Yeah? Patient in every occasion. So the characteristic of the teachers are also important and played a vital role in this visionary leadership. So our commitment to enhance professionalism and competencies is embodied in the Teacher Professionalism Master Plan 2.0, which underscores the development of well-rounded educators, focusing on adaptability of new approaches facing domestic and global challenges. We are dedicated to empower teachers with technology competencies through continuous professional development, nurtures ICT and 21st century skills, as well as promote digital literacy using remote teaching resources. Ministry of Education of Malaysia has enabled and provides continuous upskilling opportunities in various areas to support and grow a professional community of passionate digital educators. We are also continuously seeking to customize learning and teaching contents, where we are working very closely with UNICEF Malaysia in developing the Teacher Digital Learning Community Platform. More than 2,000 resources have been curated from the 4,000 teachers who have completed the online training, of which 49% are from rural schools, which is now actively contributing to the resource bank. Guided by our digital education policy, this is very interesting. We just launched our digital education policy. We modernized our education system and adapt it to the digital age. This is not only prepares our students for the challenges ahead, but also ensures that we are well equipped for a significantly different future. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we strongly believe and firmly believe that the process of nurturing human capital should not revolve solely around examinations. Instead, it should thrive within a dynamic learning environment that is holistic and motivating to keep students engaged in a meaningful way to achieve their own learning objective. So we are looking forward for a holistic approach to guide our students for the future. So in line with this vision, we have replaced major exams with a school-based assessment system that aligns with our core educational goals. This shift allows teachers to focus on developing a broader range of skills on competencies in students. Our aim is to evaluate the extent to which young people acquire a comprehensive knowledge and skill set that will serve them in life and become a more compassionate global citizen. So we have abolished the major exams in Malaysia so that we can focus on upbringing the children, especially doing the holistic approach, looking at the whole approach towards uplifting their potential. So there will be only one final exam that is the highest standard exam in Malaysia, the public exam, and the holistic approach, we will concentrate on the assessment system. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to end my speech or my discussion today with a little something that my father always told me. When you become somebody, one day, you have to make sure that the message that we always want to tell and share with the people is within this code. Khairun nas, Ustaz? Naam. The best people of you who will always give the best to the people. Bisbir ummati, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Madam Fadlina, for your especially inspiring last part of the speech. Also, strong message in today's world. Approaching the education as a holistic, and the aim of education in Islamic tradition as well to make the young generation more mature, tekamul, to make us good people, to make us not just preparing, the quality in terms of skills, but also character building for tomorrow's, also with good some ethics that really build up a resilient society, even that we need today. Thank you very much for all the good remarks. Now return back to our Minister Tony Kazadi from the Democratic Republic of Congo. Same question. I mean, what all the vision, leadership, and innovation, especially in the management of the transformation of education, as yourself as a leader in your country, as a Minister of Education, what vision leadership role actually play in meaningful changing educational system? What is your vision about it?
Merci beaucoup.
I would like to thank you for your question, first of all. Well, this was a very complicated question, but this is how I want to start my speech. For a change to happen, we have to have an open vision and a strong and responsible leadership. The educational industry is such an industry that it constitutes the fundamentals and the most essential structure in a state. But education makes a state, and managing or leading or piloting the education industry is not something easy. You have to have a very open vision and also you have to demonstrate a political authority. Well, of course, you have to have the necessary tools, and these tools will certainly help you to get to your destination. In this vision, we have to include all of this because these are the means for reaching our targets. In my country, for example, there was the moment which we went through a crisis in many industries, including the education system. And our education system kind of collapsed, and with all the financial and technical expertise partners of our state, we began to reconstruct it. And I would like to mention three different challenges here. Some challenges that we have to battle with and we have to overcome if you would like to improve the education structure. The first challenge is the access. We have to increase the access. The second is the quality, and the third is the governance. And about the first challenge, the access is very important. In my country, this became such a difficult challenge that only people from wealthy families were able to send their kids to school, and the middle class families and the poorer families did not have any access to education. This was the case in Congo until 1980s. The state was unable to provide education to the children, and they failed to create peace and a non-conflictory environment among teachers, for example. After 1980s, the state began to regulate the system for education. They started to open new schools and increase the capacity of the existing schools. This was very important. Well, of course, it is all tied down to economic structure of your country. You have to provide a budget for that. We had to increase the number of schools, as I said, and we had to motivate the families to send their kids to school. In our first constitution, dated 2006, the schools were made free of charge. In 2019, when Felix Antoine was elected as a president, he reinstated the 43rd article of the Constitution, and as of today, all the schools in Congo are free of charge, free of tuition, and this helped us increase the number of kids in the schools. And nowadays, we see that at the beginning of each school year, the number of students are increasing, especially in the primary school. As of today, we have 7 million students in our country. Our president's vision and his strong leadership made this possible. Because in this industry, as you know, the private schools do exist as well, and this industry has become a means of income for some investors. But when you say all schools are free of charge, it means war for them, because what they want is to make money from education. So this political authority, this vision, made it all possible for the people of Congo to have proper education. And the president included the whole nation in this decision to make schools free of charge. And this is the vision that I would like to express. It's very, very good. And the participation is very important, of course. The people need to be the part of this change as well. If you want to make the schools free of charge in a country, and a constitution article may not be the case, may not be the only solution if the bureaucrats in your country are unwilling to apply it or comply with it. And the number and the increasing the number of the schools is not the only problem, and it's not the only challenge for the access of school. The quality of education also plays an important role here, because only going to a school would not solve your problems. You have to provide a higher quality of education. You have to plan your curriculums. You have to implement some internationally recognized programs in your country. This is very important in terms of the quality of education. I would like to say a few things about governance as well. When we changed the structure of our educational industry in our school, we had to implement some sanctions, for example, sexual harassment at school or punishing children who violate school rules, etc. So we wanted to have a good governance as well. We put forth a set of rules for school, and this made schools cleaner places. We did apply some principles for governance at school. For example, we adopted the principle for transparency, and we really started to work very hard to provide transparency for education systems. Today, if you are sitting in your house, if you have a mobile phone and an internet connection, you will be able to get all the educational policies of the Congo state free of charge and whole transparent. All the students have educational endeavors, and the teachers are learning something from this system. For example, something about their payrolls and how will they be paid, etc. The payment dates, etc. So this governance is very, very important for improving the education system for your country. It's very important. And this governance starts with the prime minister or the president of the country, and it goes down to school level administrative personnel as well. We had to divide our country to different regions and districts. In total, we have more than 60 districts in the country. We have divided these districts, and we did visit. We organized some field visits, the site visits for these districts. We saw how they are doing, and we saw how we can include the teachers in these districts within this process of change, etc. It was a milestone for our education system, and our education system in our country is changing in a good way. We have made some agreements with Turkey, as I mentioned, for the exchange of experience, exchange of information, etc. So each side will do their best share on the areas that they are strong. If we can help each other, we can reach our target. This is all I have to say about it. I believe this was the last round, and I will not have any other chance to talk. So this is a goodbye on my side. I would like to thank you for listening to me carefully.
Actually look to the issue from design a system of creating accessible, providing an equal opportunity for all, then improving the quality and how to govern in an efficient way to make it more meaningful and efficient for everybody as a Minister of Education. Thank you. The last speaker, of course, for this panel, again, Ms. Naida Mimnovic, same question applied to your leadership as well. What is the role of visual leadership, briefly, in terms of understanding the change of educational system as yourself, as also in your vision, the role of the teachers and the educational leaders at the school, how, I mean, what the role they play?
I believe that leadership as a skill should be dispersed and shared between decision makers, opinion makers, and teachers. So every change should come, of course, from bottom up, from classrooms up to the ministries, but also top to bottom. So it has to be a two-way conversation when establishing new values and changing paradigms. When you think of museums and paintings in museums and in history textbooks, you will find monumental paintings of a crucial situation. And I'm talking about a huge map on a big table, on a big desk. And around this map, you have people, rulers, statesmen, military personnel, looking at the map and choosing, obviously, a strategic plan, making a strategy, making a scenario. Such monumental scenes should be placed back into our teachers' rooms. And when visiting schools at home in Bosnia and Herzegovina and in other countries, I see a tendency of establishing separated teachers' offices for individual teachers or subjects in groups. This will not bring us far. This will only bring us to a more fragmentized world, a more fragmented world. And this will create learners who will have a very narrow perspective on the world. If every teacher remains in charge just for the subject he or she is teaching, this will lead to particularism and not to the wholeness in education. So we have to bring back common spaces for teachers. We have to bring back the dialogue and the polylogue for teachers to gather around a map and to discuss and to develop team planning and team teaching strategies. They have to make the connection. And a religious studies teacher has the role to filter some decisions and some classes done by the science teacher, and vice versa. The science teacher has the role to filter the classes by a religious teacher. So only by common planning, by team planning, can we achieve learners and students who will be able to think about their own future. In one of the books about future studies, it says that people who do not plan their future are destined to suffer their future. And this is a very bad position, it says. End of quote. How do we make a new generation of students who will be able to plan their futures? First of all, by empowering teachers that they really have the consciousness that the future is in their classrooms. And it's not just an empty phrase, an empty proverb. The future really is in their classrooms. How do we make it in terms of teaching techniques? Well, we have to make learning more experiential. We can put signs and assignments to our students to develop future scenarios. And there is not just one future, there are many futures possible. And by training the young learners to think about their steps, to plan their steps, and to make scenarios for the different futures, we will be able to wake them up and make a strong connection between their deeds, what they're doing, their actions, and the consequences they're producing. And it's never about the first row of consequences. There is also a second order consequences. There is also a third order of consequences. And as learners get older, as they mature, we can build on these strategies. We can start by helping our students plan their day to tomorrow. This will definitely strengthen their academic achievements because they will use different information from a very open source core. But this will also develop their emotional intelligence. And by helping our students become aware that navigating through change, that the attempts to create and recreate different paths for the future is in their own hands. I believe that this could be the message. Let's empower teachers first and then the learners to realize that it is really in their hands. The tools, how to navigate the futures, how to make different scenarios through the futures. And once we realize this, once we become aware of this, I believe that we will have an enriched school life, and we will have a world that is going to be a world with a balance of power and with equal opportunities to everyone. I believe that the Istanbul Summit for Education is just such a monumental scene that will be seen later on, once other people come, as an opportunity for collaborative planning, making strategies, and opening new and challenging ideas. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you.
Well, to you most wonderful ministers that we hosted today, I am very much grateful for their time, their commitment to the education, but also their sparing time to accepting our invitation all the way coming to Istanbul and making today possible. Give them applause on behalf of all this Istanbul Education Summit. Really wonderful. Not only just appearing here, but they shared the most valuable ideas that bring with themselves to Istanbul. It was very informative, very productive, very creative indeed. A panel that I am really benefit a lot from each of them with their reach and enhanced experience as the leaders of their own countries, at the helm of their countries, manage of the transformation of education. That's the theme of the Istanbul Education Summit of 23. So I am very, again thankful to each of them. I'm sure everybody learned a lot, and it was a very good start for the Istanbul Education Summit as well. Because of the sake of time, I will stop here. Thank them all. Ms. Fatlina, Mr. Tony, Tony Kazadi, Ms. Naida Muvinovic, thank you for coming and sharing your ideas for this wonderful platform. It could have been possible without your support and without your committee. Thank you very much, and look forward to meeting next year, hopefully in a different context and different team together. Thank you very much. Okay.
Well, it was a great discussion. We thank Professor Akgun and ministers for sharing your valuable insights into this important topic, but we're not leaving you. Just bear with us for a few more minutes.
Right, we do have a couple of gifts to hand out to our esteemed guests. I would now like to invite His Excellency İsmet Yılmaz to present a gift to Her Excellency Fadlina Binti Sadek.
And I would like to invite, well, Mr. Akgun is already on the stage, so Mr. Akgun, if you could please present a gift to His Excellency Tony Mwaba Kazadi. Yes.
And last but not least, please welcome the Vice President of the Board of Trustees at Turkish Marif Foundation, Professor Dr. Ahmet Emre Bilgili, to present the gift to Her Excellency Naida Hota Muminovic. We'd like to thank our guests once again for that amazing discussion. Before taking a break, though, we would like to watch a video of our sponsors, Vakıf Bank. If you would like to, we can give you a break now. We can let you guys come off the stage. I think a 2-hour discussion was very tiring for you, but it was great and very informational. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, we can play the Vakıf Bank video now.
Günaydın arkadaşlar. Alo.
Good morning. Thank you. I'm fine. How are you? Yes, I have the document now.
Sen ne dersen de yıllar geçiyor fark etmesen de dünya dönüyor sen ne dersen de yıllar geçiyor fark etmesen de dünya dönüyor sen ne dersen de yıllar geçiyor fark etmesen de dünya dönüyor sen ne dersen de yıllar geçiyor fark etmesen de la la la la la.
Biz bu kadar yıl nasıl geçti fark etmedik.
We haven't noticed how this year has passed because even though the changes of the people change, we have been working for you for 69 years. We will be together for long years, even though the year passed.